Should Batman and Superman retire? Why the industry needs to move on. Batman and Superman have been the faces of DC Comics for over 80 years. They are not just superheroes, they are cultural monuments. From comics to movies, TV shows, and video games, they are the foundation of the superhero genre. But here's the uncomfortable truth: have they overstayed their welcome? Has their dominance actually stalled the growth of DC Comics? Hey guys, just a quick reminder. If you're enjoying this video, please support me by clicking the like button and subscribing to my channel. It really helps a lot in growing this small channel, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Now, let's get back to the video. Because while Batman and Superman are legends, DC has turned them into a crutch, and it's choking the industry. Today, we are diving deep into why Batman and Superman might need to step aside, not just for the sake of new characters, but for the future of storytelling itself. Part 1: The Batman and Superman Obsession, an industry problem. Let's start with a simple question: how much Batman and Superman content is too much? DC releases dozens of Batman-related comics every month. There's always a new definitive Superman story. Every major crossover event either revolves around Batman solving everything or Superman being the ultimate moral compass. Right now, in the DC universe, we have Bruce Wayne Batman in multiple ongoing titles. Jace Fox as Batman in his own series. Dick Grayson as Nightwing, essentially a second Batman. A separate older Bruce Wayne in Frank Miller's Dark Knight universe. A Batman Beyond timeline running separately. And Elseworlds versions of Batman appearing constantly. For Superman, it's the same thing. Clark Kent is back as Superman after his Passing the Torch storyline. John Kent was supposed to be the new Superman but was sidelined. Val-Zod, a black Superman, exists but is barely used. Other Super Family members like Supergirl and Connor Kent get overshadowed. And this isn't even counting the animated movies, live-action films, TV shows, and video games, all of which are either about Batman or Superman. At some point, saturation becomes a problem. Part 2: Why this is a problem. DC's stagnation. DC has one of the richest superhero universes in existence, but you wouldn't know it because the company refuses to push past Batman and Superman. Let's break it down. 1. The legacy heroes can't grow. Every time DC tries to introduce a new version of Batman or Superman, they immediately backtrack. John Kent as Superman was a bold move. DC hyped him up as the new face of hope. But just a few months later, they brought back Clark Kent and demoted John to a side character. Jace Fox as Batman was supposed to represent a new type of Dark Knight. But instead of truly committing to him, DC shoved him into an isolated storyline that had no real impact on the larger DC universe. Duke Thomas, the Signal, was positioned as Gotham's next big hero. Compare this to Marvel. Sam Wilson became Captain America, and they committed to it in both comics and the MCU. Miles Morales took over as Spider-Man in his universe, and they didn't just push him aside when Peter Parker came back. Iron Man, Wolverine, and Captain America have all been allowed to retire or die for extended periods, making their replacements feel important. DC, on the other hand, treats legacy heroes as temporary placeholders instead of true successors. 2. The endless reboots and recycling. Batman and Superman have been rebooted more times than we can count. Every few years, DC resets their storylines, tries to make them fresh, but ultimately, it's the same thing over and over. Superman's identity crisis: should he be a godlike figure or a relatable human? We've seen this explode a million times. Batman's endless trauma: his parents died. He became a vigilante. Gotham's still broken. Repeat. The Joker: how many times has DC tried to do the ultimate Joker story, only to just do another one? It's like DC doesn't know how to move forward, so they just keep redoing the past. 3. New characters don't get a chance because of Batman and Superman's dominance. DC doesn't invest in their other characters. Look at how they've handled Milestone Comics characters, Static, Icon, Hardware, barely pushed despite being some of the best black superheroes ever created. Vixen, Naomi, and Blue Beetle, great characters with huge potential, but overshadowed. The Green Lantern franchise was one of DC's biggest brands in the early 2010s, but now it barely gets attention. DC acts like it wants to be diverse and forward-thinking, but they refuse to actually push new blood. Part 3, Why Batman and Superman Still Matter Now. Let's be fair, there's a reason these two are still around. Batman represents justice, discipline, and human potential. Superman represents hope, morality, and the best of humanity. Their stories resonate with millions. Their legacies shaped the superhero genre. And financially, they are DC's biggest cash cows. So it's not about getting rid of them completely, it's about evolving them in a way that allows DC to grow. Part 4, How TO Fix This, a path forward. So what's the solution? Let Batman and Superman step into mentor roles. Bruce Wayne can retire while Nightwing, Jace Fox, or another successor truly takes over. Clark Kent can step back and allow John Kent or Val-Zod to shine. These characters should evolve like real people, not stay frozen in time. Stop making Batman solve everything. DC should allow other heroes to lead major events. Let Green Lantern, Static, or Vixen be at the center of a universe-shifting story instead of always making Batman the guy with all the answers. Reduce Batman and Superman's monthly output. Instead of releasing 15 Batman books per month, focus on quality storytelling in just a few key titles. Fully commit to new characters. If DC wants John Kent, Jace Fox, or Duke Thomas to be the future, they need to stick with it instead of running back to Bruce and Clark every time sales dip. Because if DC doesn't start evolving, they risk becoming irrelevant. Final thoughts. Batman and Superman will always be icons. But their constant overuse is holding DC Comics back. What do you think? Should DC finally move on, or are Batman and Superman still essential to the industry? Let's talk in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. This is African Reads Comics, and I'll see you in the next one.